At this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority.
Let them eat ballroom. A lot of people are talking about how visceral the images of Donald Trump's destruction in just 2 days of the East Wing of the White House are. I want to talk about it as a metaphor, or as a meta. If you look up the definition of metonym, which is kind of a subcategory of metaphor, it is a word, name, or expression used as a substitute for something else with which it is closely associated. Any list of metonyms is going to have the White House, meaning the White House stands in for the entire administration. And as such, it's not just the visceral images of Donald Trump destroying our legacy, our heritage.
Despite this earlier promise.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it.
There's so much more that the destruction of the East Wing represents.
The reason it resonates in part is this sense of what are the limits? Will he follow the law?
He didn't get it pre-approved.
When I worked in the White House, if we wanted to make changes, and we did, we went through the National Capital Planning Commission. There doesn't seem to have been any advanced approval of this.
There is the corruption.
As we often see, if you look at the financials of Donald Trump, you can see connections with the presidential policies that he's making each day.
The fact that he's not having taxpayers pay for it, he's having donors pay for it.
You've got the big tech companies, which are very susceptible to Washington regulation, Apple, Amazon, all of those, and some big contractors, Booz Allen, Palantir. So if you look through it, it's like, oh yeah, of course, if Donald Trump wants to come up with a couple $100 million, this is the group he goes to.
I'll come back to that.
It is a major demolition, and it is frankly shocking when Americans frankly had no idea this was coming.
There's the horribly bad taste. He keeps waving around the plans for the ballroom he is replacing the East Wing with, which is enormous, by the way.
The National Trust for Historic Preservation warning administration officials the planned 90,000 square foot ballroom will overwhelm the White House itself.
Just terrible taste. Gold filigree and all that shit. The secrecy, the Treasury Department told its employees, because they're on that side of the White House, don't take any pictures. Then the Secret Service kicked out a bunch of journalists. Just the sheer privilege of it.
That's a bridge, a glass bridge going from the White House to the ballroom.
Let them eat ballroom.
States are warning struggling Americans who rely on food stamps to pay for groceries that they may miss out on benefits come November.
As the government is shut down.
We are now in the 4th week of this government shutdown. It is now officially the second longest in American history.
As people are beginning to really struggle for food.
Many federal workers are now turning to food banks
for payments.
Many people are already seeing the higher premiums they are about to get hit with.
As the economy tanks because of Donald Trump's policies.
And it could get worse next week.
Let them eat ballroom.
Ballroom, and then you go into the magnificent, the main room.
But I want to add one part to that I think has been largely missed so far. Donald Trump, in tearing down the East Wing, tore down the public entrance of the White House, but he also tore down the bunker. This is the bunker.
President Trump was briefly taken to the White House underground bunker for a period of time,
where he hid in 2020 during the George Floyd protests.
It's unclear whether that was along with his wife Melania and his son Barron. Stayed down there for around an hour, and that does show that there was a significant fear of the situation that was unfolding.
Just days ago, right? Donald Trump had to withdraw the nomination of Paul Ingrassia because he is an unashamed Nazi.
Paul Ingrassia reportedly made racist remarks, including saying the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday should be ended and, in his words, tossed into the 7th circle of hell. He also admits to what he called a, quote, Nazi streak in me.
So you have a Nazi in the White House. You have, as J.D. Vance himself called him,
America's Hitler.
Building a very, very big bunker because they're going to have to replace the bunker. It's going to be there underneath the ballroom. And that, by the way, probably is why the Secret Service doesn't want us looking at it.
You can see the kind of interiors that we're talking about. That's an interior of the ballroom, and it's the highest level.
With that in mind, with all of the ways that the ballroom stands in for the Donald Trump administration generally.
Well, we got a list from the White House earlier today. Some of the groups include Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Hard Rock International, Google, Lockheed Martin, Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, Palantir, T-Mobile.
I want to then look at just 4 of the donors.
Very great patriots, actually.
One is Jose Faños, who is a South Floridan Cuban-American. He's the classic sugar daddy. He is literally Marco Rubio's sugar daddy. He has long been a patron of Marco Rubio. He has repeatedly gotten caught being associated with white supremacists or people like David Duke. Then there's Google.
Sergey, you were saying a lot in the Oval Office. I figured you're somebody that likes to speak with his really wonderful MAGA girlfriend.
And Google is up front. If you look at the Google settlement that Google made not that long ago for having kicked Donald Trump off their YouTube platform. Hello, YouTube. After the insurrection in 2021, it was a frivolous lawsuit. Donald Trump said, "How dare you kick us off?" And Google, in one of those kind of hidden bribes, right, paid him $22 million. That money is going directly into the ballroom bunker. And it is really a bid to get DOJ to back off the settlement for having a monopoly. So this is the quintessential big tech corruption, but directly tied to Donald Trump's attempt to punish others for punishing him for launching an insurrection. They're paying for the bunker.
I was struck by the contrast from the first administration, where there was so much effort by the President Trump to make it seem like he was not asking people for money, that he was not squeezing the people that his government had power over to give money to him or to his personal projects, and thinking how different things are now, that he's just sort of openly saying, look, I'm squeezing these people that need something from me.
There is a bunch of cryptocurrency in here, like Coinbase, for example. But 2 of the interesting people are
Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss. These are 2 smart, handsome guys. They got the whole package. They have a Gemini, but they have the whole package. They have a lot of things, actually, but Gemini's just the one for today, right?
Winklevoss twins have their own corruption scandal and their own cryptocurrency scandal, which is there are claims they made to the CFTC about Gemini, and the then Trump appointee to lead the CFTC was withdrawn because he refused to guarantee the Winklevoss twins that he would make their regulatory problems go away. So cryptocurrency, another corruption scam, paying for the bunker.
You were reporting in June that more than half of Trump's worth, more than 60%, came from crypto, which is just stunning.
A lot of people are calling this the Epstein ballroom, and I think that's great.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
2 of the names on there have ties to Epstein.
This guy's been talked about for years.
One is Microsoft, because Bill Gates, of course, is the one for whom there is the most evidence of that Epstein blackmailed him.
Epstein appears to have threatened Bill Gates and tried to blackmail him over his extramarital affair with a Russian bridge player.
The second one, and far more interesting, is
Palantir, the data mining company founded by the billionaire tech investor Peter Thiel, to compile data on people in the United States for a master database, including a new $30 million contract with ICE to provide near real-time visibility into migrant movements as it seeks to arrest 3,000 people a day.
Peter Thiel is in the sweet spot of that, is both big tech and big defense contractor. And if you think of all the fever dreams that Peter Thiel has,
it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
About a techno autocracy divorced from actual human beings.
No one's asking for the client list. We're in the dark still.
And probably, I don't know, man, I spent too much time thinking about all the Epstein variants. It probably the sex stuff is overdone.
Palantir and Peter Thiel has established ties with Epstein from his post-prosecution phase.
It turns out that Epstein had invested a lot of money with Peter Thiel, which was revealed by the New York Times on June 4th.
Palantir is another of the donors for the ballroom bunker. And so once you consider that a lot of the Silicon military industrial complex are paying for this ballroom bunker, which, you know, basically a bunker where
America's Hitler
is going to hide until he decides he can't hide any longer.
One of the things you find when you investigate this kind of stuff is that all roads lead back to Peter Thiel.
America's Hitler is building a new luxury bunker. Then everything begins to make a lot more sense when you consider that Peter Thiel is at the thick of this cryptocurrency, military-industrial complex corruption ballroom bunker for America's Hitler.
The question is, what happens to MAGA after Trump? And these guys want to find a way to capture that, but as we're seeing, they really don't have the charisma or the belief system to do it.
Then the ballroom bunker as a metonym for Donald Trump's administration makes even more sense.
Is this so preposterous?
Let them eat ballroom.
The ballroom is really the president's main priority.